Hello again everyone from Tokyo, Japan, and welcome back to Japan Vintage Camera. And today I'm going to be sharing with you another really interesting vintage Japanese camera. And in this case it's going to be the Fujica V2. If you're interested in purchasing this Fujica or another vintage Japanese camera, I sell these in my Etsy and eBay stores. Please check the description below the video for links to my stores. The Fujica V2 is the final incarnation of the thumb wheel focus Fujifilm rangefinder cameras. These began with the Fujica M in the 1950s, and the M evolved into the ML. And after that, Fuji began adding light meters to their cameras, selenium meters, and examples of these are the Fujica M Auto, the SE and EE cameras. The V2 was the last camera in this series, and it was introduced in 1964. Not a lot of these cameras were sold. The V2 was a very complex and expensive camera and priced higher than many of the SLR cameras on the market at the time. And as the SLR craze was taking off, there wasn't a lot of demand for these. So Fujica didn't manufacture or sell a lot of them. So good examples nowadays are a little bit hard to come by. Let's go ahead and take a look at the features and functions and how to use the Fujica V2. And we're going to start at the top of the camera. And a nice flat clean surface here. It's very simple, and everything is laid out very well. We have a shoe here where you can mount a flash gun, and next to that we have a dial which is a focusing scale, and as you focus the camera the distance shows up on the scale. Next to that we have the shutter release button, and on the V2 it's kind of a long button because of the automatic operation. Or the optional automatic operation requires a little bit more travel than a fully mechanical camera. And here we have the shutter charging and film winding lever. On the back of the camera we have the viewfinder window, and we have the focusing thumb wheel. On this side we have the film rewind knob. And going to the bottom of the camera we have the release to rewind the film, a tripod socket, a standard 1/4 inch size, and a battery chamber which accepts originally the MR9 mercury battery, but you can also use a PX 625 alkaline battery or a wine cell battery. Moving to the front of the camera, on the top here we have this kind of odd round circular thing with a little glass window. This is the CDS light meter, and the meter is located behind this window, and you adjust for the different film speeds by turning this dial around the outside. You can adjust it from ISO 25 to ISO 400. Here we have of course the lens assembly, and the rear ring on the lens is how you adjust the shutter speed. The Fujica V2 offers a 1/1000th shutter speed, which was the fastest speed that you could get in the Fuji rangefinder series. And the ring in front of that we have is what you turn to select the apertures. The range goes from f1.8 to f22, and at the far end we have an auto setting. The Fujica V2 allows for full manual control with a fully mechanical shutter and operating system, but it does have an automatic system which is shutter priority, which means in the auto mode you select the shutter speed that you want to use, and the camera will automatically select the correct aperture. If you select a shutter speed and the camera cannot adjust the aperture enough to get a good exposure, a red warning flag will come up as you push the shutter button. And this means that you have to move the shutter speed up or down in order for the camera to work and select the correct shutter speed. Shutter priority cameras were quite popular in the 1950s and 60s. They were a little easier with the mechanical shutter, very easy to manufacture compared to the aperture priority cameras. An interesting thing about these cameras is the leatherette which goes around them. This is very grippy compared to other cameras. As a matter of fact, I think this is the grippiest kind of covering that I've come across. It's really difficult to drop one of these cameras, which is a good thing because they dent rather easily, and parts on them are really hard to find. The camera fits well in the hand. Everything is where you can reach it. You can adjust all the controls. You might have to be a little careful not to knock the shutter speed out of adjustment because the dial turns a little bit easily. To load the film, you pull down on the catch here, and this causes the film door to open. The Fujica V2 features a really nice 45mm f1.8 lens, which is quite a fast lens for the time and an excellent performer. And some of the technology which was introduced in the V2 was carried on later into Fuji's medium format rangefinder cameras. The Viewfinder and Rangefinder system used in the V2 is very similar to what you find in the GW 670 and 690 cameras. Overall, the Fujica V2 is a really well-made, high-quality camera. It can take really good photographs, and if you find a working example of one of these, you should hold on to it and use it as much as you can. They're really a lot of fun to use. I hope you enjoyed my video about the Fujica V2, and once again, this one's going to be put up for sale shortly. If you want it, you better act quick because it probably won't last very long. If you like the video, please let me know so by clicking the like button, and if you want to see more camera videos in the future, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you again soon.